Another early Saturday game, and the Celtics win this one 103-100. This is the Garden Report on CelticsBlog and CLNS Radio. So Celtics almost blow it. This time they managed to hold on somehow. Evans, Clinchy, Jimmy Toscano from CelticsBlog here to break it down with me. I'm Jared Weiss from CLNS Radio. We're going to go over tonight's game, then we're going to go behind enemy lines as Jimmy talked to the Cavs' Dion Waiters, who compared the Andrew Bynum situation to Michael Jordan, which
spoiler alert, wow,
is a pretty fun teaser. So you'll see the context, because the context obviously changes that. But let's talk about this win. So they win by 3. But they were up by 20 coming into, or 19 coming into that fourth quarter. They were up by 22 at some point in the third quarter. Collapsing is kind of like the MO for the Celtics at this point in the season. But it's kind of a crapshoot to see whether or not they hold on or if they blow it.
I mean, it makes it interesting. Didn't Brad Stevens say something about how every game's interest? I forget.
Hashtag every game is an adventure.
Yeah, that's what it was. Which is kind of true. I mean, the difference was, I mean, they had a huge lead against the Cavs a month ago, and they kept it the entire game, and they really just blew them out from start to finish. But this time, sure enough, and it's been happening a lot lately, the Celtics just kind of like take the foot off the gas pedal, and the combat, and the other team just comes back. And somebody asked Brad Stevens if he's worried that other teams are going to just never count themselves up because they'll think that, oh yeah, it's the Celtics, like everyone comes back and says we will too. I think it might be just as bad for the Celtics to feel like, oh, we're going to blow this lead like we always do. You know, if that starts going through their heads, if they're up big and they're just like starting to watch the scoreboard slowly, you know, it's closer and closer, I just think that's a mental hurdle that they need to get over.
Yeah, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when you just stop executing offensively. I mean, we saw the last 6 minutes of this game, they didn't have an offense. It's like every possession, it's either force a jump shot or just march into the paint and pray to get fouled and don't really have any answer if you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there wasn't any kind of ball movement or any kind of calling a play or anything. It was just shoot and pray. And, you know,
some bad turnovers, too.
Bad turnovers.
24-second violations.
Sullinger taking 2 threes that he shouldn't have taken.
2 air balls in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it just, all this stuff shouldn't happen. They should be executing their offense as they normally do, but for some reason in the last minutes of the game, they just can't do it.
Well, it seems what happens is they lax up on defense, the team starts to get to the rim a little bit on them, hit a couple lucky shots, and then before they know it, it's like a 14-point game. And then you have like Jordan Crawford start to go crazy, throwing the ball away. There was that one play where he had, I think it was Lee on the right wing on the fast break, and he just like underhand tossed it into the 4th row baseline or something like that. That's been happening a lot with Crawford in these big games where the opponent's coming back, Jimmy, is that you're getting, especially Crawford, but a lot of the players are starting to try to make some cute passes. And they turn into turnovers, and that's when it goes from like giving up 8 points to all of a sudden a 20-5 run.
Right, and it can happen fast. I mean, I think some of those guys might be guilty of trying to do too much. I mean, I think they have the right intentions, but you know, Crawford, he's obviously has a much bigger role in this team than he's ever had, and I think sometimes maybe he gets caught up in trying to do everything.
Or still J. Craw.
Right, exactly. It turns into like classic J. Craw. So I just think that's something that they'll have to just work through, and like you said, I mean, they just have to run their offense the way they're running it the first 3 quarters of the game and not get cute or not get sloppy with the turnovers or the passing. And I also think, don't ask Crawford about this, like you have to forget about those bad plays, like the turnover that he had. And he went out there and he hit a big shot, I think it was in the final minute of the game, that in the paint, that turn-on jumper. I mean, that's huge. I mean, if he's still thinking about the turnover, if he's hesitant, and we know that he's not a hesitant guy, but if he was, then maybe that shot doesn't fall. So, short memories.
Okay, well, Evan, we didn't see a lot of Jared Sullinger in the second half of this game.
No,
it seems like Humphries took a lot of his key minutes. Sullinger came in at the end where they needed some offense, and it didn't really work, actually.
They put him in the final couple of minutes.
He didn't
missed
score
2 threes in a row, and they took him out instantly after that and put in Humphries.
I thought Humphries had a good game.
Humphries had a great game. Humphries has been the first guy off the bench for a while now. He's their 6th man, and he's a guy that they can put in, and he can just make plays reliably. He's not going to try to do too much like Sullinger did taking those threes. He's just going to play his role and play it well.
He's hitting jumpers.
I mean, yeah, he's hitting shots that are, that are things he can take. I mean, he's playing his game and not trying to do anything more than that.
Well, the funny thing is tonight, he usually takes about like a 13 to 15 footer. He was taking a couple steps back and he was shooting like from the perimeter tonight.
I mean, he's made those from time to time all season, but I mean, it's good seeing him just, not try to do too much and just play within his role.
Yes, and Sully with the second unit, I mean, that's something that maybe we look at going forward. How does Brad Stevens like it? Sullinger didn't seem to mind after the game playing with. He just said they're my teammates, like I'll play with whoever. So if he thinks that that's something, then I mean, I think in the second quarter, that was that unit, and with Sully in the game, I think he was the only starter with the second unit, and they turned his 2-point lead.
Bradley, I think, played with that unit a lot too.
Okay, but it was like Lee, Olynyk, I think, was Presti in there?
Yeah, I think so.
And Sellinger, and they took a 2-point lead, and they made it, you know, it was double digits. By the end of the half, it was 15-point game.
Well, the thing is that they want Sellinger in that second unit because that second unit has been the one giving up the huge leads. So they want to keep some offense in there to try to neutralize that.
Exactly.
But is that the right call, Evans? Do you think that works for Sellinger, and does that work for the team in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, like you said, they need to space out the offense and make sure that each unit has some weapons to work with. I mean, Jeff Green was more than capable in this game of carrying the first unit's scoring
the first
load.
half he was, at least.
I mean, the first quarter he had 10 or 12 points, and he was carrying them offensively. And then you bring in the second unit, and Sellinger does the thing for that unit. And, you know, you space out the offense, like you said. I think that works. And Sellinger seems comfortable with it. And he's never really been a guy to complain about his role, whether he's off the bench or starting. And, you know, he's a good team player, and he can do whatever the team needs him to do. So yeah, why not?
Jeff Green alert, 19 points, 8 rebounds. The one issue, though, I have
12
with that,
in the first quarter.
Yeah, he had 12 in the first quarter, and he had 7 for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
He's not. You know, if you have 12 in the first quarter and you're the go-to scorer for the team, you're expected to get into the high 20s, even the 30s maybe. But with Jeff, it seems like he kind of plateaus after like a one big outburst for a quarter.
It's pretty nitpicky. I'll take 19 points. I'm fine with it.
I think, like Evans was saying, I mean, just playing, not trying to do too much, you know, playing into your teammates, whatever they, as somebody else obviously took over. It was Courtney Lee in the second quarter, had 10 points, you know, and he had 11 on the day. So I just think when a player's hot, they'll go to that player, and then if the game starts to go elsewhere, I think it's good for Green not to force shots if they aren't coming to him or going through him.
I agree. I mean, the Celtics scored 103 points, and it was a well-balanced effort offensively. I think the offense was fine.
Really balanced effort by the Celtics. I mean, they had 6 players in double figures.
Right.
3 of them, I think, had 18 plus. Courtney Lee, not Courtney
Avery
Lee, sorry.
Bradley,
Avery
and Crawford.
Bradley, Jordan Crawford, and Jeff Green.
And Bass had
and Bass
16. So
16,
right
yeah.
there, Okay. Well,
Done.
that's it. Balanced
Fun.
effort. Part 2 coming up. We will talk about the Andrew Bynum situation, which thankfully fell into our laps today because the Cavs were in Boston. So that was pretty fun. We're going to have lots of footage for you. Garden Report Part 2. We'll be right back.